And down goes Mariota, just getting a small piece.
Here is where you ask what you just saw and heard. My answer is you just saw the worst throw in NFL history. That throw was called by the great play-by-play artist Al Michaels, who, according to a lot of sources, has the single greatest sports broadcasting call of all time. The best call ever, and now he was subjected to calling that? Now you ask, but why was I hearing the villainous music? Because it is an absolute crime that one of the best broadcasters ever had to call that, and that we had to witness it. Marcus Mariota should be in jail, not a team's quarterback one. I know as a sports broadcaster I am kind of biased, and I do think that throw was truly horrible, but I am of course kidding. But it is no joke that Marcus Mariota should not be a Falcons quarterback next year. But then, who is? Desmond Ridder is the de facto starter going into the offseason. However, his seat is already getting slightly toasty. It seems as if the Ravens are at an impasse with Lamar Jackson. The Chicago Bears, who have the number 1 pick, and a new GM and head coach may want to invest in their own quarterback instead of the past regimes. Veteran quarterbacks are hitting the market like wildfire. Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Geno Smith are all unrestricted free agents. Heck, younger gunslingers like Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Daniel Jones are all free agents as well. And in an apocalyptic scenario, a former top 3 pick from only 2 years ago named Trey Lance may become available, and not even for a first-round pick. So what do the Falcons do? I have seen a lot, and I mean a lot, of talk that the Falcons will trade and then sign Lamar, or go after a high-value free agent. I'm here to tell you what I think the Falcons will do. I'm no insider, so bear with me. The Falcons have around $50 million in cap space. That will likely increase to $60 to $65 million after multiple cuts, such as the previously talked about GOAT, Marcus Mariota. With no seriously huge free agents, and by that I mean no top 10 players at any position, the Falcons have a lot of money to spend. So why not bring in a great QB? Trading for Lamar will be about 4 first-round picks and then a $50 million contract, both of which are technically affordable. Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo would be about $35 million each. What a steal! That is, until you realize we have holes at wide receiver, offensive guard, offensive tackle, interior D-line, edge, middle linebacker, corner, and finally safety. We have a whole grocery list of positions we need. We cannot afford to sign a quarterback in the current state, let alone give up the draft picks that could also fill up those holes, but for cheaper. To me, that means Lamar Jackson is completely off the table for right now. I say right now for one reason. If he were to hold out and not play, then he may be available for a cheaper trade. It also means any skilled veteran is out, and Justin Fields is out, as the veterans would demand money and Fields would cost multiple picks that are needed to fill out the team. So who is available to start? Well, the only possibilities left are the young gunslingers, maybe Trey Lance, and of course, Desmond Ridder. For me, Ridder holds the lead over all of these options but one. I will say that in my brain, there is only one QB that the Falcons could go out and get of the list remaining that would start. Daniel Jones. According to Spotrac, Daniel Jones will demand about $25 million next season. He took a huge jump in play in 2022 and is a definitive fit in Arthur Smith's system. He is also only 25 and no picks would need to be traded as he is a free agent. I am not a huge Daniel Jones fan, but he is, in my opinion, the only man available that could be the Falcons starting QB next season. And I do find it hard to not get excited about how Arthur Smith would use him. But while I see Daniel Jones being the only viable competitor to Desmond Ridder for the starting spot, I can also guarantee the Falcons will bring in a QB. A backup quarterback will be needed after what seems like the inevitable cut of Marcus Mariota. Someone like Baker Mayfield feels perfect, a veteran who can spot start if needed, but also can be a decent mentor. Teddy Bridgewater or Gardner Minshew feel like a step down, but are also undeniable mentors and great backups. The ideal for me would be add a veteran and Trey Lance. If the 49ers decide to cut their losses, they won't be able to get a first rounder for Lance, and the Falcons should immediately pounce on that trade. Having an insanely high upside guy, a great mentor veteran, and Desmond Ridder would be the perfect QB room. But all of this is to say, the Falcons are in a rebuild. I know it is nice to see these great QBs and want to rush and get one, but what is a QB if he has no team around him? As fans, we need to temper expectations. Desmond Ridder played well at the end of the season, and he is likely going to go into 2023 as the starter. There's a scenario where he doesn't, but for right now, get used to the uncertainty of not knowing how good the QB position will be. 7-10 and in a rebuild is no fun, but when we climb out of the gutter and reach the precipice, it is only going to make it feel so much better. Thanks for watching. As I mentioned earlier, my main job is as a sports broadcaster. If you want to check out some of my stuff, please go to the UGA Hockey channel, or tune in later this week on the College Hockey South YouTube channel to see the playoffs, in which I will be calling some of the games. The next video will be a Braves off-season video. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.